High school is the last years of your life where you'll be free. I was reminded of this in my last video where I was talking about how, since I was in high school, I didn't feel like I could put the amount of time that I wanted to into my business. And then one of the comments that I got was that you don't get more time when you get older, because then you'll have a job and everything. So that's when I realized that high school was, in fact, the freest time of your life. And today I wanted to talk about the four biggest reasons why. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Oliver Johnson. I am a musician and entrepreneur in high school, and I'm documenting my life until I make $10,000 a month with music. The first reason that you are the freest in high school is because of the finances, right? You do not have to work to support yourself. You don't have to try your hardest to make a living because your basic needs in life very often are met by either the state or your parents. So you don't have to worry about making sure that you work hard enough to eat this month, you know? You just get to live life and learn. Everything that you need is getting paid for, which is very nice. A lot of adults get bogged down by jobs that they have, and we are free from that as high schoolers because we do not have jobs. It's just a high school, and you can choose how you want to take your high school. You have the freedom to pick an easier course rigor where it's maybe you only have 6 classes and 2 study halls a day, and then you just kind of coast to get your homework done then, compared to people who are taking boatloads of credits, 9, 10 credits a year, and self-studying AP classes. You can choose the level that you want to take high school, but it's just high school you have to get done, as opposed to a job where they're gonna need you certain hours a day, maybe more hours a day, overtime, and maybe you're not getting paid at all for that. And though high school is still a time commitment, you're getting paid in the freedom of the education. There's a statistic out there that's to get one kid through high school for 1 year, it costs the state $11,000, which comes from taxpayer money. So you not having to pay out of pocket that $11,000 to get the education. This is the freedom, right? Because once you graduate high school, you have college you need to pay for, courses online, which you would need to pay for. Being able to get the things you want without needing to financially buy themselves for you is a freedom that you get in high school. And leading on to that is the second freedom, which is the access to education. Now, something you might be realizing if you're a high school kid who's maybe not the fondest of having to go to school each day is that your education is mandatory. And you may think, how is that freedom? How is that free that I have to be there 5 days out of the week, 7 hours a day? But I just want to paint you a scenario where let's say that you drop out of school, right? You're 16, you drop out, and you just be a man child in your parents' basement for however long. You just play video games until you're 30. And then once you're 30, you want to turn your life around. You want to get back in the gym, start eating healthier, start getting a job. You're going to need to pay for a GED. You're going to need to pay for it to get through a college or a apprenticeship program. You're going to need to pay a lot more out of pocket from that. Whereas if you graduate high school the normal route, and then you go to a 4-year university, and then you get a career, find your practice, find your purpose, and you just live that life, then that's going to be a lot more free than the man-child who has to work that off now. So though education is mandatory, it brings you a lot of freedom, and you have a lot of freedom in not needing to pay for that education now. Education feeds the advancement of society and yourself, because society is not going to get better if the future generations are not taught, and you are not going to get better if you do not learn from the past generation. So education is how we get better, because implementation is very different from education. And though implementation is very important, that is how you progress. You cannot implement something if you don't know it, and you only learn stuff through education. In the providing of that free access to education, you are much freer as a high schooler. Third reason you are freer in high school is your freedom from choice. The path is set for you. You don't need to worry about which job to take, or what shift you want, or how hard you want to work and stuff like that. And you don't have to worry as much about if you're gonna make enough money this month to pay rent or anything, or if you're gonna make enough to eat. The path is set for you. You don't have to think. You don't have to expend energy in thought about how you want to spend your days, because a good 7-8 hours of that is being taken up by school. And you know how the structure of school works. You get the freedom of that structure, because then you don't have to worry about how to spend a day. Because how over summer break your days, they turn to shit, and you don't know what you want to do for each day. You tend to waste a lot of those days watching YouTube videos or or YouTube Shorts or the TikToks, but you get the freedom of your time back through that structure of the school day, which is why that freedom from choice is a freedom that you get in high school. And you don't have to worry about many other things but high school, and that's a freedom that you get. Whereas when you're not in high school, you have to worry about rent and feeding your kids and like the insurance and like gas bills and everything. But that's not a thing, that's not a worry you have, because those aren't choices you have, and that's not monetary decisions you need to make because you're in high school, so you're freer. And the fourth reason that you are freer in high school than in any other time of your life is your freedom from consequence. Though there are still consequences to your actions, they're nowhere as severe as they are if you're an adult. Like in high school, if you fail a test, you can just make it up within 2 weeks and then boost your grade up a bit. If you have a job in high school, but you just like, you don't have the time to work enough hours, that's just like less spending money for you. It's not like, oh, my house is gonna be foreclosed or my kids are gonna start. And I know this is none of you because you guys are Oliver Johnson viewers, but if you were to commit a crime, you would get less time in jail for it, or it would be juvie instead. So there would be less consequences to those sorts of actions though. That's not any of you guys, right? High school is your throw pasta at a wall and see what sticks phase. This is your time where you can grow without depending on that growth for survival. If you put all of your time into a business and it makes $0, that doesn't matter because you still live under your parents' roof, they're still gonna feed you, and they're still gonna love you, even though like your business was a failure. But if you're out on your own, once you're graduated and you've moved out and everything, if you put all of your time into a business, and it makes $0, then you're homeless, essentially. And in high school, you have the freedom from needing a job to protect yourself against that, right? You have school instead, and you have like your home responsibilities instead. But in high school, you have the freedom from having to work like a 9 to 5 or like an 8 to 5 or however many hours of like some job that you don't really enjoy the most. You just do it to make the money, to pay the bills, to be able to do the things you actually enjoy. High school is your time for growth. High school is the freest period of your life. And I truly believe that every high school should be starting a business because they have the freedom to. And it'll just set your whole life up if you are able to succeed. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.